Welcome to City Training. This is PlayPosit Essentials.
I'm Emily. I'm the PlayPosit account manager and liaison that supports you guys. I support Winston-Salem State. That's kind of a tongue twister. I don't think I've ever said the full name out loud. But I support you guys, so I'm always here to help you. If you ever have any questions, feel free to email me directly. It's just emily@playposit.org. Or you can always use my Calendly to schedule some one-on-one time if you ever have some quick questions. So I'm going to start by just giving you some background on what PlayPosit is. You're going to hear me saying the word bulb a lot throughout this, so I'll tell you what bulb means. From there, we'll look at some different use cases, just start getting some ideas flowing in your heads. From there, I'll show you the integration that we have with Canvas. At that point, you guys are welcome to try that out as I'm talking through it. All of you have access to PlayPosit, so you'll be able to try it with me if you'd like. Okay, and then we'll talk about some different features. I'll actually build a bulb and then we'll look at the analytics. So I'm gonna turn my camera off too. Okay, so just a little bit of background on how we work. So how we work is we are a modular overlay that sits on top of a video source. So you guys can use your Vimeo, you guys can use videos from Vimeo or YouTube. From there, all of the interactions that you add onto your video are going to sit directly on top of the video. So the interactions and all of the different questions that you're going to add are going to act as a layer over the video, which is great because if you ever realize, oh no, I used the wrong video, or I really liked the interactions that I made, but I want to put that in a different bulb, then you can simply just swap out that video source and you never have to start completely from scratch. So it's definitely one of the great benefits of how we work. Whoops, sorry, I think I switched screens there. Okay, so from here, okay, what is a bulb? You've heard me say it a couple times now, but what is a bulb? Why does this matter? So a bulb is our term for interactive video. This is what you create within PlayPosit. So a little bit of background about PlayPosit as a whole. Both of our co-founders were teachers who created PlayPosit in their classrooms a decade ago. So their students actually came up with the name bulbs, inspired by these light bulbs that they would hold up. Regardless, you guys can think about bulbs like a light bulb. So it's something that lets you shine a light into your students' minds to really understand how they're digesting the content. You can also think about it as a flower bulb. So just a way for you to understand how your learners are growing and learning from the content that you give them. All right, and because we're a platform that was founded by teachers for teachers, something that we always are aiming to cultivate are these three relationships. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you some of the possibilities that you can have within using PlayPosit that focus on these three relationships. So first I'm going to take a look at the instructor to learner relationship and talk about some of the different ways that you can bridge the gap between you and your learners, especially now in these times where you can't actually interact with your learners in person. Through the use of PlayPosit, you'll be able to really bridge that gap and make sure that they are still understanding things. So one of the things that you can do is you can add jumps and retries to your bulbs. So what this looks like, here we have a learner that's taking a bulb. Okay, they're gonna reach a question in the video. So from here, they'll go ahead and answer their question. This is one of our auto-graded fill in the blank interaction types turned into a table, which is pretty fun. Regardless, they got this question incorrect. So they have a couple options here. They can either retry this question right on the spot. When they retry it, it'll just clear the blanks. They can try it again. Or if they press continue, take a look at what happens here. So they pressed continue and it jumped them back about 10 seconds in the video. So rather than just answering the question incorrectly, this instructor chose to give their student the opportunity to actually try the question again by watching the video. So just a great technique that you are welcome to try. I'll show you where you can find that. But here the student got to rewatch, try again, and this time got it correct. Something else that you can think about adding, this is definitely one of the more advanced topics, so don't feel like you have to jump into this, but if you have been thinking about ways that you can add branched learning to your courses in some sort of way. You can do that through PlayPosit also. So what this looks like is we have these things called hotspots that you can add to a video. When a student clicks on this hotspot, it'll jump them to a point in the video. So here we have the learner choosing. Okay, I'm going to jump ahead, and it jumped them this much ahead. I can't see the timestamp, but it jumped them farther ahead in the video. So they got the opportunity to choose their own path. The instructor also added another hotspot that allows them to jump back if they want to go back and review that different part of the video and choose a different path. So again, this is definitely one of the more advanced things, which if you're interested in learning how to do this, I'm happy to meet with you and show you that. For the sake of this being more of a beginner getting started thing, I won't show you that, but know that it's an option for you. All right, the next relationship that you're going to see cultivated through everything that we have in PlayPosit and what we choose to develop is going to be the peer-to-peer relationship. So one other interaction that you can add among many in PlayPosit is going to be discussion forums. So here's an example of what our discussion forums look like. So here we have this discussion forum that looks like it's been added to last throughout the entire bulb. Students can comment their own responses. However, they can also reply to each other. You as the instructor, of course, can go in, you can monitor this, you can delete any comments if needed. But when students are contributing their own responses, they also are going to have access to our rich text editor. So if they want to enhance their responses in any sort of way, they can actually do that too, even if that's using the equation editor or formatting or uploading a diagram or something that's helping them to understand things. They can upload those sort of things into PlayPosit also. And with discussion forums, so one of the things that I'm going to show you guys is our template gallery. One of the templates that we have is a discussion forum that lasts throughout the entire bulb. That's just one way that you can use discussion forums. You can also insert them at different points in the video. So if there's certain topics that you want your learners to be discussing, you can include them at certain areas. You can even have discussion forums last for like 2 minutes of a video. It's all in your control. All right, and the last relationship I want to focus on is going to be the learner to self relationship. So something great that's already included in every single bulb, regardless of any interaction that you might want to add, is going to be a learner notepad. So what this notepad looks like. At any point in the video, a learner can take notes. These notes are personal to them. However, you as the instructor can also view these notes if you'd like to, not required or anything. But how these notes work is at any point, learners can go in and take time-stamped notes. From there, they can click on these timestamps if they go in and want to review. They can click on those timestamps and it'll take them back to that point in the video. Again, they have access to the rich text editor, so if they want to enhance these notes in any way, they can. Again, these are personal notes just for them. Their peers will not see them. However, you as the instructor can see them. But from there, students can also search this notepad. They can download these notes. And then you, again, as the instructor, can view them either as a class or by individual students too. So yeah, there's our notepad. One of the other templates that I'm going to show you in a little bit is going to be our learner notes template. What that template does is it simply directs your students to take notes as the sole purpose of the lesson. So yeah, okay. And then the last way that we like to cultivate these relationships is through the manner in which you deploy PlayPosit. So for now, self-paced will likely be your best friend. This is the one you'll use most frequently. Self-paced is just our asynchronous learning environment, which means that students can complete the bulb on their own time. For once things start getting back to being in person, we also offer a broadcast way of deploying your bulbs. What this one does is it takes the bulb that you've created. When you choose to deploy it as broadcast, it'll play the bulb for the whole class. So ideal for like a lecture hall or a classroom setting. You play the bulb at the front of the class, but students can access that assignment through Canvas still. So they can actually get that assignment on their own device and answer those questions that are appearing in the bulb in real time with their whole class. So basically it just eliminates the need for having clickers, but something to think about once things move back to face-to-face. And then the last way that you can deploy bulbs is going to be through learner-created bulbs. How these work is it flips the script. So rather than you creating a bulb and giving it to your students to take, you flip it, give your students a prompt for a bulb that you want them to create. They then get access to PlayPosit, to our designer. They get to use their video that they want to use to create their bulb and submit that as an assignment. So we've seen some really awesome use cases come out of them, specifically from Winston-Salem State too. Yolanda Edwards uses learner-made bulbs in her courses, and it's a fantastic use case. I'll send you guys the article. It's awesome. Okay. So with all of that said, that's just some quick background about what PlayPosit is and some of the things that you can do. Hopefully you're starting to have some ideas flowing. But how can you guys use PlayPosit? We see it used in a variety of different ways. You can think about using it for review activities, any pre-work or homework activities, any work that's completely asynchronous, any of those moments where you want to have learners create their own work, or even those times where you just simply want to foster student observations. Okay, those are all ways that you'll be able to use PlayPosit. From there, just some more specific use cases. We see PlayPosit being used again in a variety of areas, but it's definitely beneficial for any large format courses. So any of those courses where learners are feeling lost or dissociated, any courses that are highly technical where learners simply just need extra time to learn the content, or any courses that might just have high attrition rates where students are not engaged, they don't understand the content, they don't know their peers or the instructor. It's a great time to try PlayPosit in those instances also. So I'm going to skip through this a little bit. Again, we see PlayPosit being used everywhere. Here's just some quick ideas. I can actually send some use cases too that highlight these, but you can use it in education courses if you want students to, or if you want to give students opportunities to see other teachers and learn techniques from them through the use of video. Pre-lab courses or any health professional courses. One of our partners also, we recently did a use case highlight on them. They use PlayPosit to flip their large format physics courses. So rather than having students read for their pre-labs, they turn that reading into bulbs. From there, they found that their students came to class, came to the lab, actually knowing what they needed to do. And they also took advantage of their student notes too. You can think about using it for any business or management courses, any communication courses. You can have students submit learner-made bulbs for those, branched learning, or developing any soft skills. What might be most useful to you guys now, I have a couple ideas just of how you can use PlayPosit in like everyday scenarios. So for instance, this first one is showing homework problem sets. You can always record a video of yourself solving a problem like you normally would be in a class. From there, you can add any interactions that just support that learning or support what you're showing your learners, okay? From there, you can monitor exactly from our monitor screen how your learners are interacting with this and how this information is reaching them. Okay, here's an example. Just if you're like, well, how would I record that? Here's one example. You can use exactly what you have at home. Just set up your phone to record what you are showing. You can even screen record and then submit that and create your bulbs from there using our different interactions that we have available. And I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, and yeah, thank you. Panopto does work with this too. You don't only have to use Vimeo or YouTube. Okay, so last thing I want to highlight before we actually go into Canvas. I've shown you a lot, I've given you a lot of ideas to work with, but I want to show you what this experience actually looks like. So we're not going to watch this whole video, just a couple pieces of it. This video does show the experience in Blackboard. However, it's going to be the same in Canvas. So basically, when a student accesses a bulb, all right, they'll be able to start taking it. This instructor chose to add lesson objectives at the beginning, including a video of herself talking through it. From there, she added hotspots. Again, this video is going to show you pretty much everything that you could do in PlayPosit, but it doesn't have to be this advanced either. It can be very simple and you'll still get the results that you want to see. Okay, so as we continue to go through this, let me speed it up a little bit. You can always enhance your interactions too with any images or diagrams, whatever it is you need to do, you can do that. Okay, and here we have a fill in the blank. Let's fast forward just a little bit here. Okay, so something to note, as your learners start completing their bulbs, I just want to show you the screen that they need to see in order for their bulb to be marked as complete. So when they reach the end, they'll see this complete screen that lets them know that some of their interactions might have to be graded by their instructor. I'll tell you what scenario that would apply to shortly. But once they're done, their grades will sync directly to their LMS. So the grades will sync directly to Canvas. This is what the instructor would be able to see. So once a bulb has been linked, you'll see this gray screen. From here, you can go in and you can monitor the bulb. We'll dive into the analytics a little bit later too, but you'll see a full breakdown of how your students responded to each individual interaction. You can always go in, you can adjust grades. The best part about this though is if you do ever make any adjustments, especially for free response questions, you'll have a button up here that says sync grades. That button will sync those grades directly to Canvas. So it's gonna save you guys a bunch of time and really make sure that these bulbs that you are creating do have a purpose for your learners, okay? From there, you can also export the data and save it as a CSV file. It'll actually show you even more analytics than what's provided on this screen. Again, we'll take a look at this a little bit more later, but just know that you can also save all of this to your computers too. Okay, so that was a big overview. Hopefully you have some ideas in your head of how you do want to use PlayPosit. Regardless, let's keep going. Again, if you have any questions as I'm going through this, please, please, please feel free to enter that into the chat. Okay, just quickly talking about some of the benefits of using PlayPosit in Canvas. One, it's a single sign-on system, so you don't have to remember another password or username. All of your accounts are going to be created as soon as you access PlayPosit in Canvas. Okay, same thing with your students. They're not going to have to make an account or anything. They'll just be able to take the bulbs directly within Canvas and it'll register, which leads into the next point. Course data is going to be automatically synced. So again, you don't have to manually upload any rosters. Your students don't have to have logins or anything. All of that is going to sync with PlayPosit from Canvas. Same thing with your grades. Mentioned it a couple times now, but your grades are also going to be automatically synced. I'll tell you some of the differences between some of the interactions that you can include, but don't worry, those grades will be synced, saving you time too. There's also going to be opportunities for co-instructor collaboration. So within Canvas, if you have any TAs or graduate assistants, whatever it is, they can collaborate with you on any bulbs in PlayPosit. But we also do have within PlayPosit ways for you to collaborate and share bulbs with others if you want to work with other people on certain bulbs. Last couple items, we have course copy. So from semester to semester, you don't have to worry about reinventing the wheel. You can simply use course copy to keep all of those bulbs that you created intact and use them for your next semester. And then last, you can either link your bulbs, deep linking, so linking it as an assignment where things will pass back automatically. However, you can also include bulbs in modules or pages also. There's just a couple differences there that I will talk about. Okay, so let's actually jump into Canvas at this point. Once you access PlayPosit in Canvas, there's going to be 3 steps to building your bulbs. First, select the video that you want to use. Next, you'll add interactions. And then last, you'll just assign it and monitor it. So at this point, if you want to go into Canvas and just try it yourself, make sure that you know how to access the tool. Feel free. I'll try to talk a little bit more slowly. Okay. So here we go. So I'm in Canvas. I'm just going to head to the course that I want to use. Whoops. Oh, I think I need a login. Oh, yes. Hold on one second. Okay, and I do see a question. What's the length of a video that can be used? There is no length to the video, so you can have however long of a video that you need. We do recommend shorter videos just for the sake of your students, but even if your students start a video, they can always stop and come back to it as long as the assignment is still open. If I were to do a synchronous broadcast, PlayPosit broadcast with a Zoom session. Okay, I'll talk to you about that after. We'll chat about that, okay? Okay, but anyway, let's get back to this. So let's click on the course that you want to use. From there, we're going to click on assignments. All right, so at this point, go ahead and just click on add assignment and go ahead and give it a quick title. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you are the differences between how you're going to access PlayPosit. So one way that you can access PlayPosit is going to be found in the rich text editor. This is how you would go about doing it if you wanted to include a bulb in a page or in a module. So what you're going to do is you're going to either find the PlayPosit logo. Mine's actually invisible, but you can find the PlayPosit logo. You also might have a more external tools drop-down menu where you can find PlayPosit in there. When you click on PlayPosit that way, you're going to have this gray screen, but just note it gives you this big warning, grade export is not supported for this type of launch. That simply means that if you do choose to use this bulb, we're not going to be able to pass back those grades between PlayPosit and your Canvas gradebook. This is great though if you have any like review session or just a bulb that doesn't have to be graded. This is a great way to go about linking it. The way that will pass the grades back to the gradebook is going to be if you scroll down a little bit after you assign any points, you're going to head to submission type and click on external tool. From here, go ahead and click on find and we'll find PlayPosit from this menu. When you click on PlayPosit, go ahead and press either enter PlayPosit or set bulb link. Both will take you to the same place. And notice how when I did it this time, I didn't get that big orange warning, which means that my grades are going to be exported to the Canvas gradebook and I'll be able to sync those. Okay, but again, press either